Presentations in 3 pieces. Who we are, a very quick overview, 3 disruptive themes, which I think and hope you'll find very, very useful, and then stuff around our roadmap as a platform, which again, I hope you'll find very useful if you are interested in this space. So who we are Blipper. We have, our apps have 65 million users globally, cumulative downloads. We already work with the world's largest brands, Coke and Pepsi and P&G and Unilever and so on. We have just over 300 people spread in 13 offices, stretching from the west coast of the US all the way through to Tokyo. So we kind of have a global presence. We're actually a British company. We're 5 years old, founded in London. So we focus on the augmented reality space, and one of the questions, which I think is always a very pertinent one, is what's the difference between AR and VR, and why are we focused on AR? And this slide explains what it is. So, virtual reality is the notion of total immersion in a virtual environment, and so you put the headset on and you're in another world. It's transformational, and it's that experience which is why it gets all the buzz. Now, VR as a marketplace is predicted to be worth $30 billion by 2020, so it's predicted to be an enormous marketplace, and at any one time involve tens of millions of users. So around the world, tens of millions of people at any one time wearing those headsets, having those experiences. However, in the same time frame, AR is predicted to be worth 90 billion, 3 times as much, and most importantly, to involve billions of users at any one time, and that's because AR is cheaper to produce and is generally experienced through smartphones, which are basically, in the developed world, ubiquitous. And so to have, hence it will reach a lot more people. And that's the fundamental reason that we're focused on AR, is to be able to kind of own the space and activate and make it relevant for content distribution and brands. It's the one which has the kind of by far furthest reach. Our mission as a business is to give you more from the world you see. So absolutely anything you can see, you'll be able to point at it with Blipper, and we'll give you more. And think of it as a bit like indexing the whole world for a smartphone generation. So, where Google indexed the web based on keywords, we're indexing everything in the world. Underlying this is a new behavior we call blipping, and this is the notion of pointing your smartphone at something, scanning it with Blipper, blipping it with Blipper, and unlocking information about that thing. So it could be augmented reality experiences, highly branded. It could be visual search, and I'll talk a bit about what that is. And it's driven by artificial intelligence and augmented reality technology. So I'll illustrate a bit of what that means through 3 disruptive themes, 3 things which I think that all marketers need to keep in mind as they do their work in this time and going forwards. And the 3 of these, visual search is one, the second is AR gaming, and the third is personalized retail. So let me talk about visual search. So there's nothing wrong with text-based search. Text-based search, being able to type some words into a search engine and that search engine go out, creates huge amounts of value in people's lives. It's highly habitual, it works really well, and has built some of the world's biggest businesses. But our hypothesis is that actually there's lots of scenarios where there are no words to describe what you want to find out. Literally, if you want to know about that pair of shoes, how do you describe it? What do you type in? Or that flower, or that kind of animal, or whatever. And so we see that there's the opportunity emerging for visual search, so the ability to use computer vision technology, which is the version of artificial intelligence that we use, to recognize objects and then serve up content. And we added this functionality to the Blipper platform in June. Let me show you a quick video which gives you a summary of that.
Have you ever seen a flower and wondered what kind it was? Have you looked at an animal and wanted to learn more? Do you ever wish your favorite food could tell you everything about it? And what if an instrument could teach you how to play it? Could the brands you love tell you their stories? And now imagine the simplest objects, connected in ways you never thought possible. the world around you can now come to life like never before, inspiring you to go on the most unexpected journeys. Discover more from the world you see. Welcome to Blipper.
So that video gives you an overview of the visual search functionality we added to the platform in June. And what you saw there is the process of scanning everyday objects, the word cloud, showing you how the computer vision, artificial intelligence is thinking, and then bubbles appearing when it recognizes an object. And then when you decide you want to know about that object, you interact with the bubble, and it throws up a load of information about that object, which is machine curated from our own knowledge graph of content, which shows you that object, the content associated with it, and then lots of other related objects and cultural memes, and allows you to bounce around that. And we call that experience Blippersphere. The way that we're going to monetize this down the line is like this. This is a slightly cat-handed demo, but it kind of makes the point. So you've scanned your dog, Fido's Golden Retriever, and you scroll down and you see all the content. Amongst the content that you see, it's some sponsored content. And that content clicks through to a commercial brand's page or whatever. And so effectively what we're doing is building a search engine that will allow brands to target around curiosity and context, as opposed to intent, which is what text-based search engines allow. And so once we get to scale, we'll have that available as through our own ad exchange. Where we're taking this is we're improving the quality of the recognition, the objects it recognizes, and the amount of content that appears across multiple categories. You'll see that a lot of them are to do with lifestyle, because we've noticed from having the platform live that people are very, very interested in everyday objects, pets, plants. They're also very interested in food, and we think that's going to be a very important use case. And obviously brands. People interact with brands quite a lot, and we've got tens of thousands of brands on there already, and there are a few other categories coming too. So next, AR gaming. So obviously we're talking about AR gaming because of Pokemon Go. I don't know if everyone here plays it. I certainly do. I'm on level 28. I'll be on level 29 by tomorrow. And there's something really special about that, isn't there? Because they got 100 million downloads in 6 days. The last game to get 100 million downloads was Candy Crush, and that took 15 months. So, of course, the Pokemon effect was part of that, the celebrity effect of that. But actually, there was something really, really powerful about the use of AR in that game. And we realized that, actually, we've already seen this with AR games that we've been running on Blipper in the last 5 years. And I just wanted to give you a few insights from that. So the first example I'm going to show you is some work that recently ran with Nesquik. And this was basically an edutainment experience that drove huge amounts of dwell time and repeat engagement. And the whole context of this is kids having the cereal, wanting the cereal, and us, Nesquik, driving that want through using AR and VR. In this instance, as VR included too. And that experience being educational as well as exciting. And so therefore, Mum kind of gives herself permission to allow the cereal to be purchased again, because obviously it is a treat cereal. And the way it starts is with a Blue Peter experience. The box is cut up, and the child makes a crab or a shark or an octopus, depending on which box they have. And then that becomes the marker, which is blipped. So here's a video of the content, and they first interact with it, and they get a beautiful high-definition octopus in this instance, which moves around, tracks with the box. So it's pretty amazing. And then they interact, and they go into a underwater adventure. And this is what you can see here is on the screen of the phone, and it's gyroscope driven. So as you move around, it changes what you can see. And the idea is the child's kind of nudged into finding out more about the undersea world. There's some branded content. Sorry, I guess they were paying the bill. And then they're curious about all the different fish and so on, and they find out the facts. And what was interesting here was that I can't give you the figures with this, unfortunately. We don't have sign-off, but it drove huge amounts of repeat usage because of the kind of basic gamification that underlied this, which is to do with nudging the kids to want to know more and correlating that with the ability to configure your diver. So we were finding they were going in and then they were coming back to do a bit more, and then finally they got to the end and they could configure the diver and that unlocked more levels and so on. And this is now being rolled out to, it started in one country, it's now being rolled out to 30 countries, which is pretty cool. Anyway, so you can see the kind of mechanics there. It's really simple, but drives huge amounts of dwell time and repeat usage. And obviously it's very, very interesting from a content perspective to create these kind of pretty remarkable content experiences off a cereal box. The next one, another AR game. This was to do with activating the Star Wars Rebels franchise, getting as the TV series came on TV. It was promoted through flyers and ads, as well as through partnerships with different kind of FMCG products like yogurt and so on. The stats I'm going to just draw your attention to for the flyers. The first one is it was a 35% interaction rate. So that means that 35 of every 100 flyers that were handed out were interacted with. Think about that as you know, a percentage of engagement. That's incredible. We had 5 blips per user. So on average, people came back 5 times. And they spent over 6.5 minutes in the experience. So it was a highly compelling, highly sticky, habitual driving use case. The content looked like this. So it's just a video that's shot outside the Disney store. You can see that was the flyer in this instance with a call to action at the bottom saying, download Blipper, blip this to get the experience. And it recognizes the flyer and then gives you a very rich, delightful 3D experience where you kind of look inside and launch your ship. And it comes out and you can kind of peek inside and it's highly compelling. And then you play the game. And there's something about this game. It's a simple game where you see the kind of fighters flying around, but it augments them on the world around you. And we think there's something really, really special about even a simple game. Pokemon Go, remember, is a very simple game. But when it somehow adds to the specific world around you, rather than only takes you away to a different world, there's something really compelling about that. And there's something of the secret sauce in that is worth keeping in mind. It's a very simple shoot 'em up game, but there's something about these things being in the room that you're in, or the street you're in, or whatever. Okay, the third truth is to do with personalizing retail experiences. And this is the notion that shoppers now, with the spread of smartphones and e-commerce experiences now expect those same kinds of experiences in physical stores and on products. And the example I'm going to show you here is some work that we've done with Max Factor under the title Beauty Gets Personal, a Revolution in Retail. And Procter & Gamble, who we work with on this, saw this as a disruptive use of AR in the category, the idea that they could disrupt the whole category by using AR in this way. One thing I'll mention is that Mr. Max Factor, who's the founder of the brand, was a Hollywood makeup artist, and he invented new looks. He invented how Marilyn Monroe would look in terms of her makeup and so on. So the essence of this as a creative idea is you kind of have the insights and knowledge of Mr. Max Factor attached to every product. So I'll show you a quick video. So this execution has run on the various bits of promotional material, but most significantly has run on every single product. So here you can see a few examples of advertising and flyers that have gone out. and I'll show you a little bit more about what it will look like. And the results here from the proof of concept stage mixed in with the internal first moment of truth research that Procter & Gamble did. So huge amounts of repeat engagement, driving consideration at shelf, and actually driving direct purchase in some instances as well. This is now, we've got past the proof of concept. It's now been rolled out in Boots. So it's in 300 different Boots stores where the actual fixture, the Max Factor fixture, has permanent blipper calls to action on it. And so now it's become the way that Max Factor wants its users, its shoppers to find out more and decide what they're going to buy. A little bit more about what it looks like. So here's an example where we're interacting with a flyer for the Marilyn Monroe lipstick range, which is 4 different lipsticks, and the barrier here is which is the right color for me. So it tells you all about the range. And then, importantly, gives you a handy little ready reckoner tool to allow you to choose. And the way you choose is based on your skin tone. So here you compare your skin tone with these different ones, click on the one, and it makes a recommendation. What was interesting here, actually, is we found that women didn't want the computer to choose, they wanted to choose. You know, even though we could have automated the selection, we left it for them to try different things, and then they choose the one with more confidence and they're happier with the look. Also, there's a video there that shows you how to get that particular very defined look. On particular products, this is what it looks like. Sorry, I just clicked past it by accident. Excuse me. Works with the barcode, so here it is with an eyeliner. Recognizes the product, ratings and reviews of that product live from the boots.com website, and then the content. So before and after, the look I can get, videos from experts about how to achieve that particular amazing look, and then cross-selling, increasing basket size by this product with that product. So we're getting the personalization of e-commerce actually into the retail store and actually on the products, which is pretty incredible. So yeah, it's personalizing the retail experiencing. It's enhancing physical stores with digital experiences, which is really important considering the state of the high street. And importantly, it's also making products a new consumer channel. I think products are often overlooked as a content distribution platform. It's a fact that more FMCG products are sold every day than Google searches and YouTube views combined. It's an enormous opportunity for content to be distributed if attached to the packages. Because of time, I'm going to jump over this case study, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our roadmap. So going forwards, as I mentioned, we have 65 million users. We had a big release with visual search in June. Going into November, we're hugely upgrading the visual search and the user experience. There's a few other features that we're adding, which unfortunately I can't talk about now, but fundamentally they're about gamifying curiosity. We're turning kind of being curious of the world around you into a bit of a game. In terms of strategic partnerships, we have partnerships with a number of different headset manufacturers. You know that phones are predicted to become headsets, you know, ones that work really well as opposed to the ones that were launched a couple of years ago, which holographically project the content into your line of sight. We're also working with handset manufacturers, not something I can talk about explicitly, but this is to do with having blipper and blipper technology built into mobile phone handsets. We're working with commercial partners, retailers. We have a huge retail activation launching in London for Christmas, and that will be a pre-launch to a rollout of a big retail proposition. We're working with publishers, and we're working with brands as well. And then finally, we're actually changing our business model. So historically, Blipper has produced most of the augmented reality on our platform. Going forwards, we're seeking for creative agencies, digital agencies, and production companies to use our tools to create the AR themselves. And we have several tools. One of them is called Blip Builder. One of them is called Blipper API Suite. So Blip Builder is a very, very basic tool. If you can use PowerPoint, you can use Blip Builder. Blipper API, you need to be a JavaScript engineer, so a little bit more technical. And we have another product launching early in 2014 called Blipper SDK, which is the ability to build Blipper, visual search and AR interactivity into retailer apps. And so we're looking forward to working with partners on all those things. We think of it as allowing creative agencies and production companies and digital agencies an ability to get their slice of that $90 billion opportunity that's coming for 2020. Thank you very much.